Hi. Uh, Good morning. Today, inshallah, we will start to talk about the architecture profession, background about the architecture profession, and what is expected from you as an architect in the profession that you are joining. The big question is architecture a profession or a business? And what is the difference between business and profession? Anyone has an answer? Do you consider architecture a profession or a business? And what is the difference between profession and business? Do you expect to get rich when you are an architect? No? You are here to be poor in the future? Do you expect to be famous? Do you expect to be known architect, star architect? Do you expect to be a businessman? Do you expect to be a minister of housing? What do you expect when you graduate? What do you expect to be? What do you want to be? You dream to be? Study? You will finish study this year. Star architect. So how do you achieve that? How do you plan to achieve that? You must have a plan that by the age of 45 or 50 maximum, I have to be a star architect. What does it take to be a star architect? Reem, what do you want to be when you graduate? Yeah, working like what? And then be what? Masters? And then why do you want to get a master? Okay, and then to be what? To do a lot of work? Also, okay, star architect. Zainab, what do you want to do when you graduate? Minna, what do you want to do when you graduate? What do you want to be when you are 50 years old? Besides family and kids, يعني. What? US license. What does it take to get the US license? Do you know? Okay. But first you must have an accredited degree. And if you don't have an accredited degree, you will go through equivalency. So they decide whether your degree is equivalent or not. Omar, what do you want to be when you graduate? Okay, and then? لا, I want, what do you want to be? Not experience, you'll get experience, inshallah. But what do you want to be? Do you want master's, PhD, and then you want to go to the academic career, teaching and research? This will take you away from the profession. So this is your line of thought. طيب, Azab, what do you want to be? Star architect, mashallah, mashallah. طيب, do you know what does it take to be a star architect? Who is a star architect? Zaha Hadid? Who else? Do you know the names? Foster? Okay. There are like 100 architects around in the world. And you want to be in the Arab world, in Egypt, you want to be in the Gulf region, you want to be in Europe, you want to be in the US. طيب, Mustafa, what do you want to be when you graduate?
Start gaining experience, then start my own business.
Okay, what do you want to be when you finish your own business? Oh, yeah, what do you want to be? You want to be a government employee, continue as a private architect, you work for a firm,
business.
you want to run your own firm. طيب. Scenario. What do you want to be? Okay, that's excellent. Okay, what do you want to do? As what? Set design. Okay, it's related to the design profession here. Okay, good. Set design. Where do you work? Where do you practice in a Okay, so you want to work for the media, the movies, the brand, okay, advertisement and so forth. Okay, طيب. أيوة, but you have to have a goal. You have to have a vision for your future. You must have a future that you are aiming at. Don't just study and work without an aim. You say that when I'm 30, I will be at this stage. 40, I will be at this stage. 50, I will be at this stage. And then I enjoy my life after that. So 50 should be the target, the climax of your career and life. After 50, you start to enjoy what you achieved. But 50 is the cutting line. 40, you must be at the middle of your ladder. طيب, نور باجي. Okay, you want to be a known architect. What does it take to be a known architect?
Decisions, executing work rights, closure.
Okay, what are known architects known for? Most known architects are known for their writings. Writing books. They are known more because of what they write, not what they design. If you design and don't write about what you design, nobody understands. You find that all big names, Rem Koolhaas, since Frank Lloyd Wright, since Le Corbusier, all known architects, they write books. They have to write. Writing is very important for the profession. طيب, Azab, what do you want to be? Okay, good. Then what do you want to be? Not what do you want to start. I want what do you have in your image in your life? Okay. طيب, good. Good luck to all of you. But I think you have also to have a plan B or a second line that you should work for and keep this architect thing as an ultimate goal. It doesn't, people do not reach that without hard work. all those people who you know, they were working very hard to get there. Right. We have two issues in architecture. We have architecture as a business. طبعا you have to create an income, a profit from your work, whether you work for yourself or for others, and you need to know how to create that. For a business, there is no specific qualification, but you need to be a good businessman, a good presenter, a good communicator. The establishment, if you want to start early, you need to have an entrepreneurship mentality, that you are willing to take risks, that you are willing to work hard, that you are willing to sacrifice, and have a capital that supports you for a period of time in order to be able to work on your own. طبعا working for yourself is very fulfilling, very rewarding, because you take all the decisions and you get all the credit for yourself. There is no specific code of conduct for the business. It's only business ethics in general. The advertisement is very important in business. You need to do a lot of advertisement. You need to show up in interviews, TV, write in journals, have a blog, have a website, so people get to know you. Your main reward from business is, we have one business here, graduate. Okay, well, your reward from business, of course, will be profit. You are aiming to make profit. Okay, a risk, there is always some risk in business. You might lose some work, you might lose some money, and transfer of interest is possible. You can transfer your skills from your area to another area, and the capital requires based on the size and nature of the business. You want to start your own business, you need to have a place, people, equipment, advertisement, connections. This is all required. As a profession, you always think about yourself as providing service, not gaining money. You are providing service to the community, to the people, and you get fees in return. You must acquire specialized knowledge to do that. You must be a member of a professional organization, certified, licensed. Okay, so you must get your license wherever you want to practice. طبعا in architecture or as any profession, law, medicine, any profession, it has its own code of ethics, and this will be discussed. You also need to abide to the advertisement restrictions. You are not allowed to make advertisement of yourself as you like in business. In architecture, there is a code of advertisement that is strictly prohibiting architects to advertise as if they are selling a product. You get professional fees. We call it fees. Okay, so this is the difference between what you get paid for any other service and the service that you are providing as a profession. So in Arabic, it's called أتعاب. زي أتعاب المحامي، أتعاب يعني fees. Risk factor, if you are following the rules, there is not too much risk. Transfer of interest is not usually possible because you have specialized knowledge that you cannot transfer to other places. If you start working as a professional, it requires limited amount of money, but there is always capital involved. You as an architect, you have also to have an image. That image is created from your as a visionary and philosopher, and this is what most architects are known for. Modernists, postmodernists, deconstructivists, they all express their visions in writing, not only designing buildings. You have to be clear about that. You can also be a theoretician. You work in the field of theory, that you write criticism and theorize what's happening in the field, locally or internationally. You can be a socio-ecologist. You can focus on the society and the ecology. You can be a teacher, teaching in a university or college, for disseminating your knowledge. You can be an artist, like Noor, she wants to get into the art part of it. You can be a designer. You don't necessarily work as an in architectural field. You can work as a designer in general. Jewelry design, furniture design, set design, graphic design. You have the design seed. That's what makes you different than other professions. The design element is very important. That makes you work in different kinds of. Most well-known automobile designers are architects. You can design anything as long as you have the design mentality. Production architect. You can produce fabrications and other areas. The area of project management is also very wide. You can work in the office management or the site management. You can work as a quantity surveying, cost management, business developer, and so on. You can work in the site, supervising the construction, the finishing, the furniture, and so forth. So you can be a businessman. You can run a business without designing. You are good at getting jobs and getting people to do the design. I want you to change your mindset from a person sitting on a drafting table to someone who is running the show. And you go to the studio once every day or every week and put your ideas on paper and go find the job. Finding the job is more important than doing the job in our field. طبعا you can be a technocrat. You get into the governmental work. You work for a ministry of housing, or you work for a research. You can be a technocrat. طيب, very briefly, we will look at how architecture started. When did it start, and how did it start? When did we become called as architects, not builders? And what are the activities that you do as an architect, and how are they customarily performed? طبعا the word architect, arc, is made of two parts. Architect. The architect is a Latin word, a Greek word actually, coming from architecton. It means the master builder. We were not designers. We were always builders. We build by our hands. We supervise the laborers. We work with them in the site. There was no difference between the designer and the builder. The architect was called a master builder. That's why you find that in most historical buildings, the architect was involved in all the activities of the construction. So actually, the architect is the one who designs buildings and superintends their construction. So your involvement in the construction is part of the definition of your name as an architect. So the architecton is the chief master builder. The architect is the top master builder. ARC is chief tecton builder. So it's the chief master builder. You can have different builders working for you. طبعا in Arabic, Imara is originated from the word عمرة أو معماري أو من how to build and so forth. طبعا in ancient Egypt, architects were not only architects. They can be architects, physicians, they have interest in physics, in astronomy. They did many things together at the same time. And they were considered associated with the rulers, with the kings and the pharaohs. And this is how their buildings were commissioned and built. They design and build at the same time. The first writing about architecture was done by a person called Vitruvius. Vitruvius lived in the 25th year before Christ, BC. The story goes that the emperor called him and told him, Vitruvius, you are my architect. I want you to tell me what is architecture. So Vitruvius went for a while and came back with 10 books. They were called the 10 books of architecture that cover all the aspects of architecture from different angles. They cover the historical, the formal, the practical, the knowledge involved. So Vitruvius was the first person who wrote a document about architecture, and it was called Des Architectura, and it was left untranslated until the Renaissance, when it was translated from Latin to English and started to be the backbone of architecture theory and architecture profession until today. So people like Battista and Alberti and other architects, they were a part of using this text. So the 10 books of architecture are very much like كده مقدمة ابن خلدون. We usually talk about the مقدمة, but the books of Ibn Khaldun are huge, but the Muqaddimah is the part that is most famous. Also for Vitruvius, the first book which talks about the architect's trainings and aim is the most important part. And then he talks about materials, the Greek orders, the Ionic, the Doric, the Corinthian, and so forth. And then the civic structures, the domestic architecture, the stucco work and painting, and many other things. 10 books that cover, even talks about the military machines and so forth. The three words that Vitruvius used were utilitas, firmitas, and venustus. And this trilogy of meaning is still the most important in Western history and theory until today. Architecture must satisfy three things: utility, firmness, and delight. So this was also translated as commodity, firmness, and delight. So architecture must have a use, a function, must be firm and good structure, and must be beautiful. Venus is the goddess of beauty in Greek. So Venustes means beautiful. So architecture must satisfy these three things. If you are missing one, it's not architecture. So must be, so utility, structure, attractiveness. You can translate it in many ways, but I'd like you to remember the three Latin words: utility, utilitas, firmitas, and venustes. Okay? And this was actually, as I said, brought back during the medieval times. Architects started to be serving the church because the church became the power, the political power, as well as the religious power in Europe. So the architects were doing buildings, cathedrals, churches, and so forth as their main activities. During the Renaissance, when the book of Vitruvius was translated, things started to change. They started to require division of tasks. We started to need an architect to design and a builder to construct. So started to have this division. The architect became specialized in the design, and architecture became a science or a knowledge area that you need to think about. During the 16th century, we started to use the word profession. So started to be a profession and to be taught in universities and colleges and get training. طبعا it followed other professions like law was before architecture, medicine, clergy, military. All these became professions before architecture. And then we have architecture, dentistry, civil engineering, and accounting, and so forth. The profession as we know it with this organization started in the 19th century and exploded during the 20th century with the modern movement and the following movements, the postmodern and the deconstruction and high tech and all these other movements. And we started to be part of a larger planning and design and construction with the technology that got involved. The first school to teach architecture was the École des Beaux-Arts in Paris. And the architecture was taught in the École des Beaux-Arts, the College of Arts. So architecture was considered a part of the art. And the teaching was that apprenticeship style. This is that you have a studio, you have a studio master, you get into the studio, you spend 5 years in this studio with this master, 5, 6, 7 years, as much as the master feels that you can now work on your own. And then he gives you the certificate. So you graduate from a studio or of this person or that person. This lasted for a while until people from other countries started to learn architecture at the Beaux-Arts, and they started to take that to their own countries. So some people like Richard Morris Hunt and Richardson returned to the US and started their own atelier. It's called Atelier in France, using the same French manner to give degrees. Others went to Germany and established the Bauhaus in Germany. Others went to the UK and started the AA. So it's all started from Paris to other countries. So the practice, transforming the practice into a profession was important to have a control. Not everyone can call himself or herself an architect. You have to have control, license. You cannot sign papers or sign documents or drawings unless you are licensed to practice. And how the profession is conducted and the services are provided. This is, of course, due to the large scale of projects, more complicated work required and included, and so forth. Architecture became a profession, and that profession has license requirements. The license requirements, as in the US, must cover 3 E's: education, experience, and examination. The knowledge that you gain in college is not enough to allow you to practice. You need to gain more knowledge, more specific knowledge, more advanced and continuing education knowledge. So this is, of course, regulated by professional organizations. We have the UIA, the Union of International Architects, located in Paris, and then it was founded in Lausanne in 1984 to bring the architects together. In the US, we have the American Institute of Architects, the AIA, which is the professional organization. It has several entities: the NCARB, which is the National Council for Registration Board. So the NCARB has 3 components under it. It has the NAB. The NAB is the National Architecture Accreditation Board that accredits degrees from universities. Not every university in the US is accredited. You have to graduate from a program that is accredited by the NAB. So this is the first requirement. The second requirement is to go to practice 2 years under the supervision of a licensed architect. And you have to keep a log of what you are doing every day. And then the end, there is an examination. As Minna told you, it was 4 divisions, now 7 divisions. They keep changing the divisions, but it's a very long, exhaustive. Next week, I can bring you the books to look at, and the amount of information, and the number of questions. And some of the questions are actually done on the computer. And they don't measure the answer correct or not. They measure the process. How did you solve it? This is called Vignet. They have it on the computer. So they don't only want the correct answer at the end. They want to see how did you approach this problem and solve it. Very, very difficult. In Egypt, we don't have this. You graduate with your degree. You go to the syndicate of engineers. You get your membership and license and a logbook for your projects, and you start to. And this is not correct. And we have changed that in the Gulf region, in Kuwait and Qatar and Saudi Arabia, where we introduced the examination part. So you have to go through an examination and experience. As we say, we have three types of architects. We have the architect who deals with the people from I give them what I want. I know what is good for the people. And we have the architect who says that I give them what they want. Whatever they want to design, I will do it. زي ما بنقول بالعربي اربط الحمار مطرح ما ما يقول لك سيده. اللي عايزينه اعمله لكم. There is a third type of architect, the facilitator, that says I give them what we can. I know information and I know I have my knowledge. I will provide the best with the user or the client. طبعا, like as if you are going to a physician and you tell them, write this medication for me. Okay. Yeah, just pay the fees and that's it. Or you go to a physician who tells you, no, this is not correct for you. You need something else. You have to work with, you have to have a model. How are you going to deal with your clients? In the business of the architecture, we have three main areas that we work with. The area of design and drawings and office management, the area of the supervision and structure, and the area of administration and management. And the three are very important for the profession. The architect, of course, is paid because of his or her knowledge and expertise and is trusted by the owner. And this trust is very important to keep and make sure that it does not dissolve with the progress of work. So you work as a facilitator with the client. What does the client want from you? Don't expect that the client wants only drawings and designs. They might need many other things. And this is something that architects can do on their own or with the help with others. طبعا architectural design, this is known. Interior design or interior architecture, engineering, graphic design, planning, space facility planning. This is becoming very important now. You might get drawings and then the owner wants you to design how this facility will be used. Where should I put the offices? Where should I put the labs? Where should I put the workers? So they need this. Master planning, if you have a university or something, construction administration, landscape programming. Programming is a very important element of design. If you don't have good program, you don't have good design. As I told you last time, you can be an educational planner or a medical field planning. There are programmers that work in different fields. Strategic planning, construction cost is very important because this is where the money is. Facility management. Big facilities, they require the organization of the architect. Multimedia, site analysis and selection. Some owners, they don't have the site. They have money and they want you to provide them with consultation. Which site is good for my hotel? So you have to tell them this site is good. This area has good potential. you need this area to work with, and so forth. Consultations in different types. Lighting design is also part of the many good architects, they work in lighting design, relocation, scheduling, value engineering. You have to know what is value engineering. It's very important type of cost reduction and cost management of projects. How to create scenarios for different cost reduction. Furniture selection for tables and chairs and all these things. Construction documentation. After the building is built, some owners, they want to have as-built drawings. So they hire architects to provide drawings for the current situation of the building. You can be hired to do some CAD work or renderings or stuff like that. And you can also have your own design build. So you have a firm that designs and builds. You have partners that are good in construction and supervision, and you are good in design. So you can have a turnkey firm or office that designs and builds. So the architecture, the architecture profession provide 5 main services that we do. The concept design, the schematic design, and then the design development, where we introduce the different disciplines. We have the construction documents. We will learn about it's not only the working drawings. Construction documents, they include working drawings, bills of quantities, special requirements, specifications, general specification, contracts, and something called addenda that we will talk about later. So these 6 components together, they constitute construction documents. Doing some working drawings, center lines and dimensions and stuff like that is one part. Specifications are even more important. Different people consider the more detailed kinds of services, but these are the basic services: the concept, the schematic design, the design development, the construction documents, and the site supervision. Usually they are 5. Some people add to them other aspects for the post-construction and the pre-design. And it's all are variations of the same. Some people say, no, before I design, I have to do a pre-design. I have to prepare a program, the definition, the goals, the vision, and so forth. And then I go to the design phase, schematic design, design development, construction documents phase. Bidding and negotiation is very important. You will run the show. You will sit with contractors to discuss the costs and how to think about alternatives. And the construction phase, where you go and supervise, and the post-construction. You need to maybe do some as-built drawings, post-occupancy evaluation, documentation, manuals, relocation, and so forth. Some people go into more details, but all of them, they actually work around the same 5 elements that architects do. They provide concept design, schematic design, design development, construction documents, construction supervision, bidding and negotiation, and you'll find more details in different areas. So the project cycle goes like this. First, you have planning, and then design, and bidding and negotiation, and construction activities, and post-construction activities that the architects do. طبعا in the pre-design activities, you need to prepare the program, the brief, the vision of the project, the goals that you want to achieve, understand the cost, how much does it cost, so that you can work with the budget. You write the program so that you provide this program to the designer, and provide some conceptual ideas, like we did in graduation 1. And then you go to the schematic design, which is the beginning of graduation 2. You need to think about the site plan, the plans, elevations, finishings, the color board, the cost plan, the schematic design report. It's very important that you provide a report with your design. People, when you submit your design to a bank or a financing agency or a client, they need to read. So writing is an important quality of architects. Sometimes you are hired to write reports about projects, about ideas, about things. So writing and communication is extremely important. Design development, you start to bring the structural engineer, the mechanical engineer, the electrical engineer, and they all work together to review and adjust the work to suit all of them. And then you provide more detailed site plan, detailed plan, roof plans, elevation sections, finishings, and report. And then the contract documents. The contract documents, as we said, they include drawings and specs and bills of quantities and coordination to the bidding. Tender evaluation, you have to call for tenders, send the documents, answer the questions of the contractors, evaluate the tenders. You work with the owner. You are representing the owner, and give advice of which contractors to select. This will start the actual construction, where you supervise the progress and make sure that the contractor is following your drawings and requirements. After the construction is finished, you can be asked to do other things. You write manuals, you write relocation, you make post-occupancy evaluation, you make energy and environment surveys of the building, and provide all that. In general, the 5 phases they take this percentage of time and budget. 15% for the schematic design, 20% for the design development, and 40% for the construction documents. They take the most time and budget. And if you have 1 or 2 projects in the construction documents phase, they can keep your office alive for 1 year until you get other jobs, other projects. So it has to be continuing. It's not only one job you do in your life and that's it. No, that will not create a profession. And then the bidding and negotiation and the construction supervision takes about 20% of your time and budget. That's why most architects, they aim to design development and construction documents. This is 60% of your time and work. And the schematic design, the design phase, only 15%. And these figures are very important to think about when you start your own business and career. طبعا when you are doing your work, you spend your work in many activities in the office. You spend some time drawing. You spend some time finding information. You spend some time in talking, discussions with clients, with engineers, with accountants. Many meetings. You have to know how to run a meeting, how to write minutes of meetings, how to communicate between different entities. Writing is very important, and you need writing emails, how to write a good email, how to write short report, executive summary, detailed report. Writing creates the project, makes the project alive, not only looking at drawings. And other things. طبعا all these areas are detailed. What do you do in drawings? What do you do when you look for information? And discussions all the time with colleagues and clients and consultants. Writing, and you only spend about 9–10% of your time thinking. There is no time to think. You have to find the time to think. It's the least amount of time. Other things, calculating, getting your coffee, waiting for someone to come, and other things. This is what we covered so far related to the introduction to the profession. And now we will give you some time to answer this question and submit your Cornell notes. Thank you.